Yo, 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 guys, what is up? And welcome back to another episode of the Warriors Invitational. It's your boy Gautam, my boy Matt. Matt, how we doing, brother? Welcome back. We're here, dude.
Dude,
Warriors are back. We're back. It's a good time to be back.
we are here. It's a good time, man. I have my thoughts, my fears still, but otherwise life's good, man. A little under the weather, but it's it's nice. It makes healthy feel better. It's 10-2. 10-2 makes you feel good.
And
So
two makes you feel great. We're missing Chuckster on this one. Chuck, congrats for all the listeners. Chuck, the new writer for DraftKings, big time stuff. Already know Chuck's goated with the content, so congrats, brother. Hope you enjoy this one. We'll miss you. But Matt, dude, you said it, man. 10-2 in the Jimmy Buckets era. An insanely successful road trip that had its moments that could have been it's very, very telling. I think there's chances the Warriors had to show that they were the same team as before, um, or show that they kind of flipped the script a little bit, and 4-1 and a pretty what should have been a 4-1 road trip, which ended up being a 4-1 road trip, but the way they got there was a lot of trials and tribulations, man. But yeah, talk to me, dude. Like, let's just start with there. Kind of with everything. Like the road trip, obviously the Warriors 10-2 with Jimmy. They're pretty securely in the sixth seed now. With I mean securely in the sense of like they're ahead of like
they're on the right side of the
they're on the
plane. I
right
mean,
side of
they're
the
they're
plane.
they're 6, 7, 8. So
And there's opportunities to move up, so the six doesn't have to be where they end up. So just give me your thoughts, man. How you feeling about everything, and yeah, let's go from there.
I'm feeling good. I'm always in like the waiting for the rug to get pulled out from under mode. But you kind of can't feel too bad right now. This is kind of like everybody who's always wanted the Warriors pick up a second guy. This is kind of what they envisioned. And the biggest thing I think that we've seen, we got to start with, and Gotham, you have a chance to go off for a second in a minute, but Steph just looks the best he's looked since the 22 playoffs. I don't know. He just like life just looks easy for him in a way that we haven't seen since the championship, I feel like. And that's kind of it. Like that's we know when he's like that, and there's role players playing well, which is how things have been since Jimmy got here. This team just wins games, and he's just like who doesn't look better? Kind of the question, right? I think every other team looks better since Jimmy got there. Is there anybody in your mind who has not? Because I think everybody's floor has raised since our guy Jimmy Buckets got to the Bay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's the like you said, like everybody that wanted a second option, that was the biggest thing. I feel like we've talked about it. Like guys can slate back into their roles. Like you don't need Pods to be your best guy on it or second best guy on a night. You don't need Moody to hit like six threes to like be like get on the floor. You don't need Post or Gee or whoever it is. Like you now have another dude. And this is no disrespect to Andrew Wiggins. Like we love Wiggs, stamped in Warriors history for that championship, but Jimmy Butler was a clear upgrade from that. You were able to consolidate four guys for one. You're able to free up the rotation essentially. Like guys know exactly where they're coming in now. You know who's coming in, who's coming out on a nightly basis. And it's just the non-Steph minutes, man. Like we'll get to Steph and how great he's been and why. Like looking at this Steph, I think we can win a championship. But with Jimmy in there now, like you're not worried about the non-Steph minute. I'm kind of not that I'm looking forward to Steph not being on the floor because it's awesome to watch him, but it's nice to see that non-Steph minutes when they're extending leads. Steph can buy a couple more minutes and doesn't have to check back in with 9 minutes left in the fourth because the Warriors are in a free fall. Like you're in a I like how they're staggering Draymond and Steph with or Draymond and Jimmy and Steph with that like once the rotations start to kind of take place. You can just see it defensively like that's my base thing is defense. We knew this was a good team defensively. They were always in that 10 to 12 range. They've been a top five defensive team since Jimmy got there, and they might even be second from the last thing I saw. But it just looks really the process looks repeatable. They're doing this against teams that are big. They're doing this against teams that are small that can run. I think they can play against a lot of different teams. I think they match up well with a lot of the guys out west now. You got two of the best playoff risers as your one and two punch, and a guy like Jimmy. We saw it yesterday in the Nets game, man. When Steph was out, just that two-way ability that he has. He was getting to the line. He was playing. He was playing defense on the perimeter. He was guarding guys in post. Like that's a dude that is going to be he's going to get better as the stakes get higher. We've seen it with Jimmy Butler throughout his career. And now that he gets to do it with while having Steph Curry next to him, dude, that's gonna be it's a scary sight for the rest of the league, for the rest of the West for sure. And yeah, are the Warriors gonna walk into a championship this year because of this? No, but are they in the are they in the top three, four teams in the West that can actually come out of there now? Like, yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't put three teams over the Warriors that I'd take out West over them right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just it's all true right now. I don't really know. I'm we're gonna get into like seeding and stuff later, but I think we just have to get beat to really highlight how good the young guys have looked since Jimmy got there. Um, and it makes you. We'll get to coming in towards the end of the pod, I'm sure, but who's like out of pods and posts and Moody? Like, who do you think is benefiting the most from Jimmy? Because I'm watching this and it's just like, and everybody's talking about this, right? Like everybody like these guys just don't. They just all look like dogs now, man. Like Pods has like so much. He always has like swag. Right? He's got more confidence than he probably should, but better than that. Better to have that than have none. Um, they all just look like they're taking on Jimmy's mindset, man. And it's just like Quentin Post. Also, I'm gonna shout you out, Gautam, because you've been on it since day one with Quentin Post. Um, I just can't believe how well the young guys are playing, man. I'm just watching this shit and I'm just like, what happened in a matter of like 3 or 4 weeks is like pretty indescribable. And I'm at one point in mine where I'm like, this is great. And it also makes me a little nervous though, because how much of it's real? You know what I mean? With the young guys, like they're playing not out of their minds, I guess, but just confidence that I just need to see if it sustains through um, the end of the season, a long stretch run. This homestand is going to be huge. We're going to get to it, but they have a tough stretch coming up. They have some good teams they're playing. Yeah, I just who out of the three young guys who have played so far with Jimmy do you think is biggest beneficiary of him being there?
Like I mean, you got an argument for all three. All three of those guys have played just great. I think Pods just his honestly for Pods, I'd say he looks the best next to Jimmy, but I feel like a lot of it is he's just making shots now. Like he wasn't hitting shots before the injury, and I think he came back from the injury before the trade. I want to say so, and he looked pretty good before then as well. But that being said, like having another ball, like for Pods, it's always been like you need another ball handler next to me. I still don't buy him as your backup point guard. But I think him next to Steph, next to Jimmy, like that works well. He plays well. He's kind of that connector that Steve Kerr always likes. So you can see the skills there. I think Pod's just making more shots. Moody's been great defensively. And that's something. I mean, we saw him get cooked on the perimeter guarding guys, but I think he's able to slot in and guard those bigger kind of wings that he can stay in front of. And he's
They
been
also locked the fuck out of Brunson though,
yeah, he
man.
was playing well on the perimeter too. Like he's got length and Moses also hitting shots. Like he's getting all those looks. Especially in last night's game, like Buddy Hield was over and missing open threes. I love that Steve Kerr pulled the plug on him quickly, brought in Moses, and that was really the run that kind of iced it before the fake comeback by the Nets. It was nice to be on the good side of a fake comeback for once. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Post, man. I've been on Post for a while, and everybody, a lot of people have, and I'm not going to take credit for knowing.
No, but I'm gonna say you can take a little credit because you were on it like
I
whenever he
just like
first
a
came in,
stretch
like making a
five.
few shots.
I've loved a stretch five, and it's always been something that I felt like this team just didn't have ever really. Like David West kind of I mean not kind of it was automatic from that pick and pop, but dude, Post has just got like that dog in him. And I didn't know that like even when we first saw him, like I just thought dude, stretch five, the guy can shoot the ball. He might be the second best shooter on the team. And
I think he
I
blatantly like
think
I
I
think
think he
Buddy in a
is.
pinch like it probably is, but I think the fact that we're even asking the question is insane. And he's just like he's not just like oh he's a big who can shoot. Like no, he's a shooter. Like he's a guy
He's
who
a
just
shooter
shoots the dog.
and dude, he has been great defensively. And you've seen the growth like just within the last few weeks, but I want to say that maybe that's attributed to Jimmy. But it's really just like you're seeing him. He's able to guard guys. He's obviously big. He's 7'2". But he's able to. He's pretty nimble on his feet. He can move them. He's pretty quick laterally. He can stay in front of guys. He's not. He's a decent rim protector, especially playing with guys like Draymond and Jimmy. So I'm gonna go with Post. I think that the kid just he just seems like the type of guy that's going to elevate when the stakes get higher. You're seeing it in a lot of these big games. He's not afraid to take big shots. He had a couple threes in the first quarter yesterday, to kind of get the Warriors back into it. And if he missed those shots or he didn't take them, like they're down like 25 at that point. So like he hit some big time shots, big time plays. Yeah, again with Moody too, like hitting big time shots. There was one yesterday. I think it was 83-77, and Moses hit little pump fake, side dribble, hit it to cut it to three, and they kind of sparked a run when the game was kind of hanging in the balance. So like, yeah, the young guys have been great. I think we'll get to Kuminga, but he's my biggest X factor now. Because you're seeing like this team, as they're currently built with the young guys with Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, they're good enough to beat anybody. And if we can segue into Kuminga right here, like what's your take on JK? Because obviously it sounds like he's coming back at the earliest tomorrow. I don't know if he's coming back for the Pistons confirmed, but he's the return is imminent. Where does if Kuminga plays like he did before he got hurt, and then we were seeing obviously this we've heard the talk, he's the next guy. Steph and Draymond have both kind of given him the not the keys to the franchise, but like hey, like you could be up next. If Jonathan Kuminga comes back like we know he can play, what does that do to the Warriors ceiling? Because I got some thoughts there.
Yeah, I just don't. I am like so curious to see what he is like when he comes back because the team's identity is kind of like changed since he last played. I feel like now, and that's in large part, if not entirely, because of Jimmy Butler. Like this team is just like gritty now. Like their identity is just so much like they're like the whole team is like the Warriors' second unit of the early dynasty. You know what I mean? They're all just like
Yeah,
grinded out, ugly physical basketball, and they're diving to loose balls. And I want to be clear, like Minga is a freak of fucking nature, like physically speaking, right? But he's not a guy who like leverages his physicality in that kind of like gritty way. You know what I mean? At least he hasn't been. And he needs to I think he's gonna need to kind of adopt that mindset. I think there's not a better guy to inspire him to do so than Jimmy. You
yeah,
know, with that being said, I think you brought up a good point. Like, I think his team still have like scoring goals. They have moments where like they just can't get a fucking bucket. And I think we're all kind of saying that Jimmy Butler. First of all, the guy wants to score. He's gonna score. He's like definitely. I think people have said this. Is not my own thought, but he's definitely of like the Iguodala mindset of like he's a connector. He's a team player. He's always trying to make the right basketball play. And I think that kind of leaves us wanting sometimes. You know what I mean? Wanting him to get to the hoop, get the free throw line. I think we're all waiting to see when the mid range is going to come back. But they've had moments where they can't score. And I think Kuminga, if he can be a second unit, just merchant. And I'm curious how they pair these motherfuckers, dude. Like, is it going to be Kuminga and Steph, and then Draymond doing like it has been? I think that's my thought. Is like get Kuminga in there with Steph and like Looney maybe, and just see how much they can muck things up with two guys like that. As far as like what this team's ceiling is, if it depends on him. Yeah, and I think it's partially just because like they need eight guys. Like they need to have eight guys they can go to in the playoffs. And right now, that I feel confident about, it's it's four total, but it's like GP and Looney are half each for me. You know what I mean? So to the three
yeah,
main guys, then it's Looney and Gary Payton. Um, which just isn't where you want to be. And I have like I think out of all the young guys, I'm kind of getting off track here, but of all the young guys, Moody's always the guy that I'm like, okay, I think when push comes to shove, he's going to give you good minutes in any scenario for the most part. Um, so yeah, I think Kaminga is, and I think it's in large part because of what he can provide that they don't have right now. But it's also because they need someone who can be a dependable, eighth or ninth guy come when that rotation gets short, which is going to really soon. They need someone with his skill set to really step up. So I agree. I'm curious as to what it means. I'm curious as to how it looks, but yeah, I hope he can come in and be exactly what he was because he was probably having his best like 4 or 5 week stretch of his career before he got hurt. Um, yeah, they're gonna need his ass. So I hope he gets after it. What do you think, though?
yeah. No, totally with you. I mean, exactly the same. I think I'm a little more bullish. I think if JK comes back, he puts this team over the top. I think they can take anybody out west, and they should get into the 4 or 5 spot. avoid the Lakers and the Nuggets, and then there's a path there with Kuminga back, and I would be very very confident. I just think, like you said, that the only time that they really go on like this team can be beat is when they don't score. Obviously that's how it works, but they do have those stretches still, and I think JK just playing next to Steph. I honestly would love to see him, Jimmy, and like post where you got a guy that can spread the floor. You got another slasher in Kuminga with Jimmy out there. Um, I think that could be interesting. But I do think that if you're able to, if Kuminga is even able to give you like 16 a night consistently, you're now in a spot where you've got Steph that can get you 30 plus any night. You've got Jimmy who can get you 25 and plus any night. Then you got JK go anywhere from 16 to 20, throwing Moody, throwing Pods, throwing Gee, Post, all these guys. Now you're looking like, okay, hey, we can play defense still. We're a really good defensive team, and we've also got three guys that can get us 20 plus a night along with everybody else. So I think JK is the X factor. I'm the same with you. Really curious to see how it all shakes out rotation wise. It feels like they have, like you said, just kind of picked up more of like a gritty identity, and just kind of riding Steph and just playing off of him, playing off of Jimmy. So it'll be interesting to see. But I do think, like you said, Jimmy Butler for Jonathan Kuminga as like a mentor and like, hey, like live at the line, like just drive the basket. This is what teams can't guard you. I feel like, and we're kind of hearing it already. We'll see, obviously on the court, but it sounds like Jimmy's kind of taking Kuminga under his wing and really just being like, hey man, like you can be special. So we're hearing it from now all three of the leaders on the team, Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond. So this is time to shine. I mean, it is put up or shut up time for JK. Really, like very honestly, because contract's coming up. They got a decision to make this summer. It's either JK is your guy, or you got to go upgrade him and get another one with through some sort of sign and trade in the summer. So this is going to be a
So
really,
Cam Johnson this summer, basically.
yeah, Cam Johnson, and like this is going to be JK's chance to say, hey, you guys, I'm the future for this team. I can help you win a championship right now. Go get his money, but I think JK's got an opportunity here to really put this team over the top. Um, yeah, it should be.
Who's losing minutes when he gets back? Because somebody's not playing as much anymore.
Yeah, sadly I think it's gonna be Gee, although I don't think it should be. I feel like it should be Buddy and find a way to make it work with because Gee can shoot, and he's got size, so like it's just I feel like it's gonna be Gee sadly, but I think Gee, Post, Moody, Pods, like these guys should be playing more minutes, and take them away from Buddy Hield, man. Like that should be the guy. GP and Looney, obviously they've been playing. GP's honestly looked pretty good the last couple weeks. And he's just a good like kind of jack of all trades you can throw in any times, especially when he's being able to score the ball. But yeah, JK is going to take some of these minutes. I hope it comes from Buddy, but I got a bad feeling it's going to come from Gee.
You kind of have to. You know what I mean? Like it's unfortunate, like you said. I could see GP losing some minutes too. I could see that. Um, it also really shouldn't be either of Pods or Moody.
Yeah,
And it's
no.
positional stuff there, obviously. Like Moody's, operating the space between the two and the four right now, kind of throughout his time on the floor. And it's just it's a bummer. You know what I mean? And I hope it's maybe you in the regular season you take Draymond's minutes down a little bit. Um, it's gonna be somewhat of a logjam, but it's a good problem to have. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I
also
mean,
there's a lot of fun combinations
it
too.
also this is also why it helps out to get rid of more guys that 4-for-1 trade. Like, yeah, it's going to be tough, but we've dealt with tougher in terms of like just guys being in the same kind of roles or spots. So, I hope that that's just that they have space a little bit in that sense. Like it'd be easier to slide in, but yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting though. I hope it is. I hope it's Buddy, man. Find a way to make that work and get that guy last minutes. It is tough when Buddy Hield is your barometer for success. If he's hot, like the team's honestly unbeatable. Like they really, it's crazy. He scores 18 or more and they win. It's kind of a given. So that also speaks to the fact that if JK can come in and be that guy consistently, like now you're really talking. Like you've got a team. Like if you got three guys that can get you over 20 a night, consistently, this team's gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, I really think it's gonna be a matter of like, I think Jake Hayden Steph pairing is gonna have to be the way it goes. Um, which
Speaking
just
of
makes you
Steph,
wonder.
man. Speaking of Steph,
Go,
we've
go.
got we've got to. The guys. I know we're having there's a lot of conversations floating around. Is he the GOAT? Is he, or should he be in the conversation? Is he top five? I think Steve Kerr said it best, man. We are watching the most skilled person to ever touch a basketball. And this is not even like I love Steph Curry type of deal. Like the things this guy's doing on the court, we've never seen and we'll never see again. Like these shots that he's hitting, these half court shots, these turnaround, fadeaway, logo
Well,
three.
okay, let's just pause on there for a sec. Now, I don't know if you got a chance to look. Is that the best step shot
You know
of his
what? I
career?
saw people saying that as soon as it happened, and I was like, "There's no way." Like, he's got to have
It
the.
might be.
It might be, it might be the greatest shot he's ever hit, and put that in perspective with all the other crazy shit we've seen Steph Curry do. Like, I think for like off the top of my head, the France game
Yep.
that's up there, that one. Um, Like, but there's also just so like not like the one in Boston where he just like stole it and fucking hit it from half court. Like the Clippers, all the dribble moves, and even after that shot yesterday, there was a layup he had yesterday where he just dribbled around the whole team and like just and that wasn't
We're
even
gonna have to do like a Steph iconic shot draft
for
soon.
sure. And it's gonna
I
be like
mean,
that's gonna be a 3 hour episode. But the fact I think the coldest line from the road trip was Steph, you put the city that never sleeps to bed twice with the night night. Shout out Steph Curry, put him to sleep, baby. But dude, I mean, this Steph Curry can win us a championship. And I'm like that is also just why I'm so bullish on this team is Steph looks I don't even want to say like Steph because he's looked incredible, but this is a different level that we've seen and like this is finals Steph, man. Like we're seeing like 2022 like the team's on my back. I've got guys that I trust that can help me win games, and that's a dangerous thing. You're getting Steph Curry ramping up with 20 something games left, going into a playoffs run that again, people are doubting the Warriors. People don't know what's going to happen. We've seen championship teams before. We've seen how this movie shakes out. You don't want like nobody wants to run into like I think he's got to be the most feared man in the NBA right now. And in terms of guys you don't want to see like LeBron, Luca's up there, throwing the cat Celtics, whatever.
but
But
he feels like he's gotten to the point, man, where it's just like
like he
I don't know what other athletes like this right now, but when he doesn't show up when it matters most, you're I'm fucking shocked.
no, yeah,
It's
I mean
just it's so
every
close
big
until you
shot,
have the
every
ball.
big moment, like it's funny because like the talk in like the early part of Steph's career was like, oh, he's not clutch, like and now you're turning around and like the night, like I know it's a celebration and everything, but the fact that the guy has so many night celebrations where he's put teams to bed and just
I don't think they've lost yet when he's done that,
no,
man.
he's never the closest they got to blowing it after a night
Last night,
was yesterday,
yeah,
and they still and again like they never felt like they were going to lose that game after even with the whole comeback. But
he's averaging right now since they got Jimmy 30 points a game on 51, 43, 90.
in the
He's a
last
plus
10 in the last 10
10.8.
he's like 30 and he's shooting 55% and 51% or something in the last
No,
like
no, he's it's insane, man. It's like it is just, man. I hope every, and I talked to my dad today, and it was thrilling, man. My dad's very much, he's an old timer, man. So he's very much like, he's not the same guy anymore. It's over. Don't worry about it. It's just, it's how it goes sometimes. Now, like, get this motherfucker one more guy on this team. I promise you. He goes off. My dad, he acknowledged, he's like, you know what, you were right. That does not happen to me ever. So I was like, thanks, Pops. I appreciate it.
yeah.
Um, but he's not alone in that, though, to be clear, right? That was a lot
No,
of
no, for sure. And I mean,
descendants
look, I
and
it's hard. I mean, it's not even like a slight at him anymore. If you're like he's 37 and it looked like he was a
totally.
little slower, but that's the thing that like all of why Warriors fans have been talking about. Like, hey, get him another guy because we saw it in spurts. Like, it's not that Steph, all the wash talk was obviously whatever, but there he was a step slower and but he had his moments where we were like, hey, he still got it, and we're seeing it now with like, hey, we got another guy he looks fucking 10 years younger. Like
Did we get the perfect fucking guy?
we might have, dude. I can will never could have seen that coming. I love Jimmy Butler. I loved him before the trade. I loved him on like the Heat run and everything like that. I always thought Jimmy was a great guy. It never struck me that he would be this seamless of a fit. I clearly I'm not alone. I know that, but like I know for a fact that like most people were I know I said it on this podcast that I was against Jimmy. Like the fact that he didn't want, I think a lot of that war was like he didn't want to resign, but still, I didn't see the fit. I was like locker room guy, whatever it is. But dude, they said it early on, like he's the anti-Steph in terms of like screening and playing down low, and it's really feels like a puzzle piece that you
Well,
just
he genuinely does not want to. He doesn't want to shoot
doesn't
threes.
want to
Like
shoot the
actively, he
ball.
does not want to. Does not. He's not invaluable though for it. You know, I'm sorry, not invaluable. He's not non-valuable for it. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah,
still.
yeah, exactly.
He's not like
And
the Martin Rosen. You know what I mean? He's like Martin Rosen. Like that guy. He's not a mid-range player, but you kind of like, man, I wish you'd shoot some fucking three-pointers.
yeah,
But
no,
he's
I
still like,
I think it's crazy, man. Like and that's again what makes it so intriguing for like what this playoff run's gonna look like because these two guys are the two biggest playoff risers in the game, like bar none. And they're on the same team, and they're clearly figuring out how to play together. So I don't know, man. Speaking of like playoffs and stuff, dude, the Warriors are in the sixth seed. I think they're half a game up on the T Wolves for seven,
half game up in the T-Wolves. Yep.
half game up. But
One of the few.
they're right there. They've done the hard work to get over the 11 seed to all the way to six and in the last 12 games. So incredible. The fact that they're in this position at this point of the season, I don't know if we saw that coming. I think we all thought it was possible, but they took advantage of the schedule. Even the couple games they lost, they were right there. So I'm looking at the standings, man. They're 3.5 out from the 4 seed in Memphis, and I think that's the goal. The goal should be the 4 seed. They have an opportunity here. I think 1, 2, and 3 is going to shake out. Well, I mean, one's pretty much gone, but 2 and 3 is going to be some combo of the Lakers or the Nuggets. I don't see the Grizzlies or Rockets rising in the standings. They both have been struggling lately. They both have tough schedules down the stretch. The Warriors play the Grizzlies, I think, one more time. I want to say.
Right.
I could be wrong, but um, they've got a 7 game homestand coming up. What's your best case scenario, man? I mean, 50 wins isn't out of the question. They're on track
Yeah.
for 50
You
wins.
saw earlier, I tweeted something like 15-4 gets you
15 and
gets you
4.
the
And to be fair, this started off and it was whatever, 25-5 or some shit, or 25-6. So like on the pace they're going, that
Mhm.
15 and 4 not doable.
It's not. And again, you mentioned Kaminga coming back earlier, and just at the very least, Kaminga's going to give Steph and Jimmy legs a rest. 3 months too. But anyway, yeah, ideally, I mean, four, like you said, is ideal for a number of reasons. Like getting one series home court is always fucking great. Um, I mean, a big part of this, we're going to get like the teams you want to duck, but I guess the teams that you don't mind playing first round, I would, the Warriors would love to see Memphis or Houston in the first round.
For sure.
They'd be thrilled. Houston, it might be a 5 game series, if I'm being frank. And I don't speak optimistically about much of anything. Um, if the Warriors were healthy going into a Houston series, I don't really think it's just like between the fact that they're a young team and experience, they're ripe for being exploited by Steph Curry. Like Sengun's not moving in pick and roll with Steph. Sorry, and I'm sorry that that town's traumatized. So if it's an early 2-0 lead in that series, night night. You know what I mean? It's cooked. It's over. Um, Same
Well,
for Memphis. I mean, it's like they're having a funky end of the season. Jaw has not been Jaw for a minute now. Jaren Jackson Jr. is out for I think 2 to 3 weeks at least.
yeah,
Yeah, four's great. And I also think it's crazy. I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy OKC until the OKC
we'll
has
see.
bought me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, they're not. Uh, and I also, as a basketball believer, as a purist of sorts, I don't think guys like SGA win titles. I love SGA. I think he's a fucking baller, but he's cut from the same cloth as James Harden, as Chris Paul, um, you name it. He's a grifter. Okay,
Grifter.
and you show me the guy who's won a title doing that as the best player on the team. There isn't one. I'm sorry. There's not. Um, and so I'm sorry. I'm sorry to OKC fans. That's just my core beliefs as a basketball fan is that shit doesn't win. And additionally, the Warriors have beaten the Thunder twice this year, and that
Without
was pre
anybody.
Jimmy.
And
And
without Steph one night too.
yeah, so and I think Shea scored 56 in one of those games.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, bring OKC on the second round. You know what I mean? Let's traumatize OKC one more time, man, because it's those are young guys. I don't. I like Jalen Williams a lot. I wish he was a Warrior often. I don't buy him in the playoffs as of yet. He's second, third year player. I don't. I'm not sure about Shea come playoff time when the whistles are a little less frequent and a little less giving. So yeah, let's go Houston, Memphis in the first round, OKC in the second round, and we'll talk about what comes after that in a second. What does your path look like, my guy?
Yeah, man. I think 4 or 5. I think that should be the goal. Again, I think if you're playing, it's for me. It's right now. It's all about on the bracket. And I of the teams in the West, I don't want to see the Lakers or the Nuggets in until the conference finals, and it's poised to
It
be.
hurts to say it out loud.
For sure, for sure. And I'll tell you this: I don't think the Nuggets or the Lakers want to see the Warriors before the conference final either. I think with AD gone, I like the way the Warriors match up with the Lakers. I think that they've got the defense. Luka is great. Don't get me wrong, but you put a guy you saw OG Anunoby giving him some trouble yesterday. I think if you can put Jimmy on Luka and then kind of play everything else on LeBron and then stop the other guys, you've got. I like the way they match up compared to how they did with AD here. I think the Warriors have a little difference on offense now, especially with Jimmy. They can play the free throw game. It's not going to be one of those insane. I mean, hopefully not one of those insane discrepancies where the Warriors are like 3 and they're at like 25, but at least a little bit more balanced. And we matched up pretty well with them in that 23 series. I still think that they should have won that. They blew a couple of those games. Lonnie Walker went crazy.
Well,
And
we got respect and love to our guy number 11 at the time, 31 now. Uh,
yeah,
we got
yeah.
some really bottom tier all time
We had
performances
some
from
bad
Klay Thompson and Jordan
performances
Poole.
and still had a chance to win that series. Steal a couple games. So I'm not afraid of anybody out west. I'm gonna make that very clear. But in terms of path, I agree with you. I think that Houston or Memphis first round, you're taking whoever that is. They're It's funny. I honestly think the Rockets match up better with like a team like the Lakers. And like they wouldn't want to because you're going up and down, running up the floor. Lakers a little bit more slowed down. But we'll see. I think that yeah, for the Warriors, go through one of those two teams, you own them. Thunder, I'm with you. I'm with you at the purest part. I don't like SGA's game. I'll be completely honest. I've been calling him Shea Griffiths this entire year. I don't like him. I think respect, guys, is pure score. I hate the grifting. I hate it in basketball. Yeah, I don't believe it. And again, it's a young team type of thing. Like you got to go through the dogs to win it all as a young team. And they lost to the Mavericks last year, and like all respect to the Mavs and Luca and that team, they weren't any sort of like playoff killers. They were kind of going through it the first time as well, that deep. And the Thunder didn't match up there. If they were going through Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, that's a whole nother level of we haven't seen this before in the playoffs, and I don't think they get past that. So yeah, I think that's the path. If you can get into 4 or 5, stay on the Thunder side of the bracket, away from the 2-3 Nuggets Lakers, the conference final should be very much attainable.
I'm going to be frank, man. First of all, I'm on the same page with you with regards to the Lakers, but which again, it sucks to say it, man. I also want to be clear. Part of the reason I'm saying that, I want it to be known. We know what the league thinks of the Lakers. Okay,
For
I
sure.
don't want to get in a free throw contest with that fucking team.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, no. This
I
is
don't
not.
want it.
I just think like
Um,
Adam Silver, if he's gonna rig it for the Lakers, that's stupid because you get Warriors, Lakers, and Celtics, Cavs in the conference finals. Any four of those matchups are great.
right.
Warriors, Celtics, Warriors, Cavs, Lakers, Celtics, Lakers, Cavs. There's good storylines either way, so let the best team figure it out. Like there's no need to rig it to the finals. Rig it to the conference finals. I'm with you there.
I'll also say, listen, man. One of the reasons the Warriors had trouble with the Lakers in the last couple of years, is not because of LeBron James. It's because of Anthony
Anthony
Davis.
Davis
Uh, my guy is gone. So thank God.
match up well.
Also, I'm sorry. On that note, uh, Lakers have nothing for Steph Curry anymore. Nothing for Steph anymore. And if it's death by pick and roll with Austin Reeves and Luca all day.
All day.
I can't wait to see it. But again, I also want to be clear: the Warriors got to guard Luca and LeBron James, so it sucks.
Yeah,
Those are
it's
two
not easy. I'm not saying the Lakers
losers.
got a team, man. They're a good team. They're rolling as well. I just feels like they're on a collision course for the conference finals. I think if that's how it shakes out, man, this Steph Curry fifth ring is gonna hit differently. But before we get out of here, Matt, we've got the got a nice homestand coming up with a lot of good teams coming in with they fucking on a heater Pistons. Awesome job by who's the coach? JB Biggerstaff out there.
What business?
Pistons.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, Cade's looking incredible. Like they got a fun young team. Excited to watch them, honestly. I'm pretty stoked for that game. But 7 games at home, and you're playing some good teams, man. You've got the Pistons, you've got the Kings, the Knicks, the Nuggets, the Bucks, in there. Throw in the Raptors and Trailblazers who are playing. Blazers are honestly playing good ball last couple months. So it's not an easy homestand. You are coming home after a nice, successful road trip. What's your record hope, and what should they be like for you to be like, all right, these guys are serious, and they can legitimately get to where they need to be.
7 game homestand, we said, right?
7 games, 5 playoff teams, or five what are playing playoff teams that will be playing well.
Listen, as well as yeah, we're looking at his schedule right now. So Pistons comes after 3 days or 2 days off. They got to win that game. It's at home, obviously, at homestand. Blazers, listen, hats off to them for playing well. It's the fucking Blazers. You got to win it. Kings got to win.
How to
That's
win.
that's the most porous defense in the league. Get after it. Knicks next week, probably without Brunson, but might
Brunson.
be a reasonable Carl Anthony Towns revenge game. Draymond's got to work on his social emotional skills ASAP. Um, those should be four dubs if things go well. That's also a pretty nice spaced out schedule. And actually, for the most part, the schedule is kind of in their favor, except for the latter half, which is it's 3 and 4 nights with the Nuggets, Bucks back to back, and then the Raptors on a couple days later. Um, I would honestly say they should probably go 5-2, if not 6-1. If they got to win one of those Nuggets and Bucks games, I think they should not lose before that. Granted, that's not always how things go. So 5-2 would be great. 4-3 is the worst it could get in my mind for how like I'll view this optimistically. So I'm gonna say 5-2. That seems reasonable. I also want to say Kuminga is still out come Saturday per Anthony Slater just
Oh,
now. He's not playing the first game of this homestand, which is getting kind of fucking weird.
yeah. I mean, the grade 3 sprains are never fun, but it has been over 2 months. So like hopefully it's not as serious as it's starting to look like. But yeah, on the homestands front, I'm with you. I think I'd go 5-2 is the bare minimum. I mean, they're playing good teams, but like you should not be losing to the Pistons, the Kings. The Knicks will obviously be tough out. They got a really good defense, but again, no Brunson. It should be kind of saw how they fell apart in the overtime yesterday. Should be a win. Yeah, I think that Nuggets, Bucks, Raptors, kind of 3 and 4 nights. I could see them losing one to one of those teams, and then if you sell against the Raptors, like that just be annoying. I think 6-1 should be the goal. And I think that's very doable. 6-1 would get you to what are they at? 41-29 then. And then you're seriously on then you really if you can get through this homestand at 6-1, let me pull this up real quick.
So 12-3 gets you, or
Uh,
9-3, pardon me, gets you to 50 wins
Nine and
for
three
the
gets you
season.
to 50 wins, and you've got winnable games after that. You got a road trip with the Hawks, the Heat, the Pelicans, the Spurs, and then you finish it off with Grizzlies, Lakers, Nuggets, Rockets, Suns, Spurs. And so they've got the chance to, if they can take care of business on this homestand, they've got a real good path to not only getting some good wins under their belt going in the playoffs, but seeding wise, they could really start to rise, and that 4 seed's looking promising. But
Yeah, give us a prediction, Gautam.
6-1. 6-1. Let's go.
Well,
Let's be serious. It's time.
we can adjust as well as things go, but right now, what's the Warriors' final seeding?
I think they end up at 5. Um, 4 would be awesome, and I think they'll end up in one of those spots, but I think they get to 5. I think they get out at 6 seed. They're playing really well. I think it shakes out to be kind of how we broke it down in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the Warriors are going to get some good matchups going into a conference final run at least. So yeah, I think they end up 4 or 5, but I'll go with 5 just to be safe. I'll go 4. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go 4.
Wow,
Let's go 4.
you're serious today. Um, I think I'm gonna go 6, man. 5 seems they're 3 games back, and it's the Rockets aren't playing well. but things happen. That takes one steps out a few games, Jimmy's out a few games. I also expect those guys to rest just a little bit here and there. I'm going 6, 5 would be fucking awesome. Again, Houston first round would be a blast.
Fuck yeah. I mean, I love it. Let's see how this shakes out, man. We got a fun stretch coming up. Before we get out of here, man, any last thoughts? Anything shouting out? Anything going on in
Oh man, let's just keep getting wins, man. Watching the Warriors has been fun. The last night was the first night I don't really know in how long where they were down by a lot of points, and I didn't turn the game off, and I actually thought they were going to win.
yeah. I
So
mean,
more of
that's what
that,
happens when you
please.
play the Nets too, but still, I feel you. I feel you
It could have been the fucking Hornets from 2012, man, and I would have turned that TV off.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That was a big win, man. Yeah. It's fun stretch coming up for the Warriors. This is gonna be fun. We'll be here breaking it all down. But until the next episode, guys. Peace.